This is the actual US-Canada border that they cut down all the trees.
Oh, Rocky Mountain Bighorn sheep on the left, right there. Right in the driveway.
Got some Rocky Mountain Bighorn sheep booty. We're missing the sunrise. We gotta get to the sunrise. Bro, that's wild.
I got a picture of the one standing up.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't see it. There you go.
It was a group, again, my first time here, but when I talked to them, they said that you'll be guided as a group.
What we're going to see here is a form of hunting that was utilized by the Blackfoot for thousands of years, basically. The very most you would take in a single hunt was about 300 buffalo, although the hunts were typically closer to around 100 to 200 buffalo at a time. This is the original cliffside where the hunts were being conducted.
Alright, you got your coffee. You ready to go? What's the plan today?
Today we're going to Waterton National Park in Canada, which is essentially like the same park as Glacier, just they're separated by the US and Canada border. So we're going to spend the night in the park, which is really cool. And then tomorrow we're going to head up to Calgary, and that's it.
Yeah, before Calgary, we'll go to a couple of neat places, including Head Smashed in Buffalo Jump, which you'll learn more about later if you subscribe and watch that video, I suppose. I don't know who I'm talking to, if this is Yappin' and Cruising or if this is just my mom. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Michelle.
So we're heading to Canada, and weather should be good. Made some phone calls yesterday and even talked to Izzy. She's the transportation supervisor for the Red Jammers. She's saying, hey, is there any way that you could just run us back over, like to the top and back? She's like, absolutely not. She says, we're booked up, you know that. I said, I know. She said, but we book, Cosmos books these things about 2 years in advance and signs a contract. So the Red Jammers are really hard to come by, and the general public, families that want to book on them have to book in advance, so there's no way we can try and go back through. I tried. We got a little bit of a backtrack, but it's not too bad, just up towards other town of Browning, and then from Browning we'll take it on in, and then we'll cross on into Waterton Lakes, and it's just absolutely beautiful.
Julia keeps bullying me.
I told him there was buffalo on the right. He was like,
You keep doing that. You said it on the left, and then you said it on the right. It's just hurting my feelings.
he was going to take a picture of some horses by the mountains. It was like a really pretty shot, and he had the lens cap on. So I said, rookie mistake, and I've done that before.
They said the bus driver and the tour director have not been on this road before.
Wow.
How's that make you feel? You feel like Clark?
What?
I'm Lewis.
I'd be Lewis.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
I don't think so. Yeah, that one on the far right is my favorite one.
Chad, do you think Lewis and Clark were gay?
Bro. Why do you think Chicago had a baby?
It's a little hot.
So, off to the right, this is the actual US-Canada border that they cut down all the trees. It's like one of the longest maintained borders in the world.
Yeah, that's cool. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get a picture down the middle. So, you wanna hold this? Look at that one.
Oh, that's cool.
Hey, every year they have powwows in Alberta, some of the biggest powwows in North America, where tribes come from as far away as Phoenix, Arizona, and Florida, and you name it, to have competitions from hoop dancing to flute music to celebrations of all tribes in North America, not just the United States.
Andrew, does Canada have Indian reservations?
Yeah, Canada has quite a few Indian reservations, absolutely. I remember when we talked about the Plains Indians War of North America of the United States, 1850 to 1890. The Nez Perce, the Nez Perce under Chief Joseph, was trying to lead his people to Canada to seek protection under the crown. So did Sitting Bull and his people. But when they got there, there was too many of them, too many of the native tribes, and the native tribes basically said that there's not enough food and resources for this many people. So the native tribes pushed the Canadian government to either relocate the American tribes or to send them back. And they stayed for about a year, some of them did, and eventually headed back to the United States. Ended up on reservations in the U.S., and many of them, including the Lakota, said we'd rather be on lands that we know than here where we're not wanted. There's contention, fights between the resources, timber for teepees, and food, elk, right? Further north you go, what kind of animal will you get? It's also a member of the deer family. Caribou. Caribou, elk, bison, and moose. Now, from one of my colleagues, a Canadian tour director who comes through here quite a bit, because they do that Calgary, he said, look at the waterways like right here to the left. All right, so Alexis, Karen, if you're going to see them, this is going to be a hot spot for moose.
Okay.
All right, I know you didn't get them in Alaska, but hopefully see if we can get some for you here.
That's how we caught that one.
All right, so the moose are the largest member of the deer family. Scientific name Cervidae deer. So the big bulls, we see them. They're mature males. They can weigh upwards of 1,400 pounds. They love to eat the willows. These trees, a willow bush, more of a reddish color, and they love to eat those, particularly in the spring. Now this says the Blood Indian Reserve, so reservation. They're called reserves here. The Blood Indians. And so we're on their nation right now, or if they call it reserve, we're on their reserve. But the reason the bull moose, only males will eat that typically in the spring, is they're regrowing their antlers. And they're huge, like giant paddles. And they hurt. Have you ever had a cut in the scab? And when it's forming, it itches and it's painful? They eat the willow bark. Why do they eat the willow bark?
It takes pain away.
Takes pain away. Why does it take pain away? Correct. Very good. Willow bark is a key ingredient for aspirin. So, good answer, Ted. Yep, but this is moose country. They can swim down underwater, open their mouths, grab a chunk of aquatic vegetation, and then float to the top, and they can chew on that. They love aquatic vegetation. Moose. What's the plural of moose? Mises, moosers? No, just moose. And there's a Canadian saying that if you came to Waterton, it was not by mistake. You purposely came here. It's far away, hard to get to, and you had intentions of coming to Waterton. And there's over about 300 miles of hiking trails. Look at that. Wow, this is my first time seeing that view.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
So, reason for trees not being at the very tops of these, again, glaciers and ice. And there's too much snow and ice that forms on the top. When it melts, any kind of sediment, seeds, trees, usually get pulled down. That's why it's so barren like that. That tells you how much ice and snow they get. In Colorado they have 54 mountains at over 14,000 feet. 54 of them. In North America, in the American Rockies in Colorado, any mountain over 13,000 feet, the tree line stops. So you can always tell what's called a 14er, 14. into Wyoming, Idaho, Utah, and then it bends and they make their way through Colorado and just continue straight on down until they come up to just south of Las Cruces, New Mexico, which is El Paso, Texas. So the last group of the mountains of the Rockies is the Sangre de Cristo and the Sacramento and Zuni Mountains to the south. This is part of the Dominion Forest Reserve. So they call theirs forest reserves, we call ours national forest. So there was a British explorer and a naturalist, conservationist, who explored the area on the expedition of 1895. His name was Charles Waterton. There's a huge importance of being a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's basically created after World War II. It's where countries agree that no matter what, even if one country goes to war with another, they will not bomb or destroy their UNESCO World Heritage Sites. So they're basically protected from that, where it wasn't the case during Europe through many of the wars, World War I, World War II. So if you honor that, then even if at war, you won't destroy buildings, temples, churches, things of importance that are listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. But a little bit further down, you can see a big hotel up on the horizon on the left-hand side. That's the Prince of Wales Hotel, and it is a gorgeous hotel. And it's really windy up there, so but we want to get you to food first. So we're going to take you to town. Let's get you down to get some lunch, and then we'll go and do the Prince of Wales. Remember, there's no way we're getting in our rooms until 4 at least. Come into the village year-round. There's only about 267 residents that live here year-round. Most of the buildings are shut down and they close up. The outside here, the ambient air warms it up a little bit. Now there's tons of more food over here to your right hand side. This is where the bulk of restaurants are.
Made up my mind.
Why are you stressed out if you have to go to the
It's okay. I'm gonna be fine.
But this is, you'll enjoy this. Take a look at that up there. You can go inside that. You can walk around it. Look at all those people enjoying the view of the lake. Now today doesn't seem too windy, but up there it tends to get windy. Oh, Rocky Mountain Bighorn Sheep on the left, right there, right in the driveway. Rocky Mountain Bighorn Sheep, right there on the left.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I thought they were statues. They were moved.
I thought they were statues too.
I don't think I got the Oh, I didn't get my camera fast enough.
Got some Rocky Mountain Bighorn sheep booty. Whoa. I was thinking we're only going that far. Why would I get the camera out?
All right, here we go. They discourage people from coming up here by charging a lot of money to park. We're going to pay $55 to park. Uh-huh.
Something's always in the dirt here.
So let's stay.
Extremely.
There's a deer in the road right in front of us, a mule deer, walking right down the road.
Did you see that? The little deer was like going to eat some grass and a lady just walked up to it and it like startled.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
Scared the deer?
Yeah, the lady did. The deer like jumped. It was weird.
Interesting.
So it'll be closed here pretty soon. Those of you that are requesting your passport stamp, this is just a passport stamp stop only. Okay. Inside those doors right there. If they have it, grab it, and then as soon as you're done, the bus is like right here.
Okay.
We're missing the sunrise. We gotta get to the sunrise. Get pictures, I'll get a video. Oh, there's another one. Oh my gosh. Bro, that's wild.
I got a picture of the one standing up.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't see it. There you go. Oh.
I got a lot of good ones.
Wow.
I thought
Here's
you
a
were
cute
talking
sign.
about the sign. I was...
Alright, yeah, we gotta get going. We're late for breakfast. Oh, there's another one. Another one. Got the front row seats today, so.
Where's mine?
It's windflowers.
Hey, you tell me windflower. What the subway?
I didn't know what the name of it was. I just knew it was there.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning, Kevin.
Good morning.
All right, we are so excited. You guys excited? Because we have no idea where we're going. But hey, safety in numbers. We'll figure it out. So, Kevin's GPS isn't working. And mine's 50-50. I kind of know where we're going because the signage does say head smashed in. And he's getting a feeling that as soon as we get up a little higher, he'll regain the signal. So right now we're on the just kind of go with it morning. Literally. Oh boy, what about those days? Remember the days we didn't have GPS? Right? We just got there. I don't know how, but we did. What a place. I love Waterton. It really is a neat little community. Yeah, then we got this nice stretch along the lake here. And then we're going to be heading to a place called Head Smashed In. And that's a buffalo jump. That's what the Plains Indians and the Canadian tribes use to basically catch and kill bison. I'll get to that in just a bit. And then after that, we're going to head in towards the city and take you around a little bit of Calgary. Calgary is a great city. I really like it. It reminds me, and a lot of people say it too, as a type of like Denver, Colorado. Same style setup, the downtown structure, coming into it, surrounded by the prairies and the grasslands and the farming community. So kind of like that big Midwest city. Denver. So Calgary's nice. They got trains running around downtown. The Bow River is beautiful as you come in across that, and a great city. And it looks like we just missed the biggest activity taking place in the summer. But it'll come back though. It comes in these waves, and that is the Calgary Stampede. Okay, if you're following along on your maps, we're heading up towards Pincher Creek. That's actually where a lot of the people that live in Waterton during the summer season, majority of those people, you'll ask, well, if you don't live here year-round, where do you live? Many of them will say things like Calgary or other cities, but a lot of them live in Pincher Creek, which is about maybe 32 miles from here. Those trees out to your left, that's unreal. That's all aspens. Groves and groves of aspen trees. Then a little further out in the distance, that's the Waterton Lakes Mountains. Hey, there's another tour bus up there.
Wow.
I see it.
Wow.
Pavement. Parking lot. Okay, so we do have a 10 o'clock tour, and that's perfect timing. I'm sure they'll give you a chance to use the restrooms. It is guided, so you will have your guide, he or she. We'll take you as a group. Again, my first time here, but when I talked to them, they said that you'll be guided as a group. They'll take you through and everything else. And cameras are allowed. I did ask that. So come on off. Once we get up here, let's see what they said. They're going to come out and greet the bus. So let's see if they'll do that. Oh look, he's got the old people bumper on that thing.
Oh, we took a dirt road and ripped off the other one.
Okay, you guys ready? All right, I'm so excited. You excited?
Oh, you see the carpet, Julia? I just noticed.
Little buffaloes.
Yeah.
We should get that for our house.
All right.
When we started work here in 1965, and when we started working, we had Hello, everybody. So, just wanted to reintroduce myself since we have a few minutes here. My name is Kendall. I'll be your guys' guide today. And what we're going to see here is a form of hunting that was utilized by the Blackfoot for thousands of years, basically. So this site here, we have evidence of this form of hunting being practiced up to 6,000 years ago. And on top of that, we have evidence of human activity in this area that goes back at least 9,000 years. And every time the archaeologists dig here, which is every 2 years or so, they find something newer every time they dig a little deeper in the ground. So this site's routinely getting older and older the more work that is done here. So in a few minutes we'll be watching a reenactment of that hunting. But at first I just want to give you guys some background on the site and the method of hunting that you guys are going to watch. And so at that time, Blackfoot people, and that's who mainly utilized the site, were Blackfoot people. And I myself am Blackfoot along with the other guides here that you guys might have met. And so those were our ancestors utilizing this site. And so most of us grew up since a young age hearing from our grandparents stories that they would have heard from their grandparents about how they heard about the last generation that utilized this site here. And so this site here, the last time this hunt was used was around 1848. And so not too long ago actually when you think about the grand scheme of things, and on top of that goes back, like I said, 6,000 years this form of hunting was practiced. And so the site here, this building opened in 1987, and it was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1963. And so because of that, this is well protected. It's a protected archaeological site, still an active dig site. And so a lot of work has gone into preserving this area due to the vast richness of the artifacts here. We still today can easily find buffalo bones all throughout this area here. There was actually a gopher that was digging a burrow down our lower trail there. And as he's kicking up dirt, you could see like buffalo bones being kicked up with the dirt. If you look down the hole, there's like bones sticking through. So that's partially why we actually can't allow dogs onto our lower trail, is that there's so much bones and artifacts there that a dog is just going to have the time of his life. And so, the form of hunting, guys, are going to see, I think some people kind of get the wrong idea of how they went about conducting these hunts. And so they weren't actually just kind of finding a random herd and just running them over the cliff. There's a lot more work put into it than that. And so what they would actually do is, out of this large herd of about a few 100,000 buffalo, they had a method of portioning off smaller sections of that herd so that they can get a precise number of buffalo every time. So that way you're not risking depleting the herd over the years. You're also not risking wasting the meat, because if you took too much buffalo at once, you cannot get to all that meat before it starts to spoil. You have roughly 48 hours to get through all of that food. And so even with the large groups of people that Blackfoot could travel in, sometimes the camp for a hunt that would come together for a hunt, they could number up to 1,000 people. But even still, with all those people, it's very hard to get to all that food at once. So the very most you would take in a single hunt was about 300 buffalo, although the hunts were typically closer to around 100 to 200 buffalo at a time. And that was a once per year hunt. So one hunt a year, that's enough to last your people throughout the entire winter season. And that's the main goal of this hunt, is to basically survive the winter. These would have been done in late October, just before the winter season starts. That way you can have enough meat to store you throughout the winter. You can replace all your winter clothing, get new skins for the teepees, and all of your tools can be replaced, because a lot of people don't realize this. Not only do the buffalo feed us with the meat they provided, also the bones and a lot of the items, different parts of the buffalo, could be turned into various tools that were very necessary for us. Our clothing, our teepees, I guess they were constructed from the buffalo, and even with things like our utensils, our cups, our dishes, kitchen tools, any kind of thing we needed on a daily basis, we got all of that from the buffalo. And so the buffalo really made our lifestyle possible, and our entire life revolved around this animal. They were very central to our survival. We could not survive without understanding this animal first. So that's why I always tell people, even back then, thousands of years ago, these were essentially scientists. They were going out into the environment, studying the buffalo, understanding the environment they depend on, and even things like understanding what type of grass the buffalo prefer, so that they can go into those areas where that grass is growing. They'll burn it in the springtime, and then it grows back thicker and fresher than the other patches of grass. And that's how we could get the buffalo to return to this area year after year, so that we can conduct these hunts. And And so we'll be able to watch these hunts inside here in a few minutes. Looks like our group's ready to go. And so while our next group is exiting, can we have everyone line up back on the right-hand side of the wall?
You're actually going to take me and you, and we're going to have to reenact it. You're the buffalo.
Hey, which one's which? We should go, but everyone's breathing a little heavy now.
Me included.
Thank you so much. So once everyone gets out here, I'll give us some information on the site here. But this is basically where it happened. This is the original cliffside where the hunts were being conducted. Things had already started to change. The introduction of the horse and guns were depleting. And so once those herds are no longer roaming through the plains, we just can't do any more hunts, basically. So that's pretty much what stopped the hunts. Alright, so it looks like it's pretty much all of us here. And so if I can direct everyone's attention to this side of the cliff, directly in front of us, if you see a piece of the cliff, it kind of looks like it's falling off or about to fall off. That's because it is. And so, due to a lot of erosion, most of the original cliffside has fallen off, and that's what has made the cliff a lot shorter than its original height. And so, during its time of use, it was closer to around 20 meters, so double the height that you see today. Today it's around 10 meters high, but at the time of its use, it was double this height, and so that's partially why it was so effective. It was a very steep cliffside. It's a very sudden drop. If you're up there on top of the hill over there and you look this way, you cannot see a cliff at all. You just see open prairie, especially if you're a buffalo, because buffalo have very poor eyesight. They do not see very well, they're nearsighted, and that's one reason these hunts were so effective, is that by studying the buffalo and understanding their weaknesses, such as their poor eyesight, they're able to take advantage of that to conduct these hunts. So you'll notice this is facing eastward, and that was important because the goal was to start early in the morning before the sun has come up, and you want to get them right here on the cliff just as the sun's peeking over the horizon over there. And exactly, it blinds the animals as they get there, and so they don't stop until the very edge when they see that cliff, but by then they're being pushed by all the buffalo behind them. So this place should really be called Hit Smashed and Buffalo Push, because no one is really jumping, I guess. So, in the film, you guys seen the calfskin hunter, and his job is to lead the buffalo away from that main herd. That's how they're able to portion off a smaller section of the herd, so that they're not just taking the whole herd and wasting all of that food. And so, by studying them, they understood as a herd animal, they're very protective of all the babies in the group. So him mimicking that distress call, it lures away a section of that herd. And then those wolfskin hunters can come in behind after a certain amount have passed through, and they pinch off the herd and separate them. Yeah, and so they get behind them, and they start pushing them forward, and they also ensure no more join this group that they've taken off. And then once they get them down those driving lanes, the rock piles, they have guys in between those rock piles with big buffalo skins. And what they're basically doing is tricking the buffalo into thinking those are buffalo walking beside them, and it keeps them moving forward. And they're actually walking the buffalo down those driving lanes at first. They're not trying to cause a panic yet. And so, if you're holding that buffalo skin like this, sometimes those buffalo just go walking along, graze up on your chest, and you have to remain completely silent and still that entire time. Otherwise, you could jeopardize the entire hunt. And so, once they get the buffalo to the point where the two groups can't see each other anymore, they'll go over a little ridge, then that's when they trigger the stampede. And now that runner in front of them has to be very athletic to stay in front of that herd. And what's unfortunate is that although you've seen in the film he jumps off to the side, often they didn't make it out of that. That was usually a very ideal situation. So there were times where the buffalo caught up to them and they were trampled or gorged. Other times they might get to the edge, but the buffalo are too close behind them, and so they just have to go over with the buffalo. And so for them back then, they viewed death kind of differently than today. They viewed it more as just a jump to the next stage of their life. And so for them, they were going to go meet their ancestors, but with a story of how they helped their people survive another winter. And that was a very big honor to them, to pass on to the next stage of life with that big of a story. And so they welcomed that opportunity, and they were well prepared ahead of time for that consequence. And so, but they didn't always die in this. Oftentimes they were able to jump off to the side, and sometimes they even did have a rope that was pegged into the rock at the end, and there was ledges just below the edge of the cliff where you could swing under there, and you could safely sit on that ledge while the buffalo cascade over top of you like a waterfall. And so that was how they would get out of this. And once you finished and passed through this role, once you retired, you were then allowed to marry or have children. But as a active buffalo runner, you could not marry. You couldn't start families. It was just too risky because you could possibly leave behind a family, with a lot of responsibilities being left behind. And so it wasn't until they retired that they could start a family and now take on the role of mentor for that next generation of buffalo runners. And so, one thing about the film, it kind of gives the idea that there was like 5 guys doing the whole thing. In reality, though, these were feeding large groups of people, and this was a very coordinated hunt. It took a very big group effort from the entire community. And so, up here on top of the cliff, you might have about 300 men that would be in charge of herding that group of buffalo to the edge of the cliff. And once they go over the bottom, there would be about 100 or so women armed with spears and bows and arrows, and they were the ones finishing off the animals, actually. And so, in our culture, the women were just as skilled hunters as the men, and so they were the ones actually finishing off the buffalo. In the film, it shows the guys running up, and they were doing things like kind of bashing them on the head with the clubs. They actually wouldn't have been getting that close to hit them with a club. It's too dangerous. How they actually were finishing off the animal was they built a large corral at the bottom, and that prevented any surviving buffalo from escaping or running away and potentially injuring the people on the bottom. And so, yeah. And so, this is my little podium here. Yeah, that's actually the safe one. And so, but that corral traps them there, and then the women can go in with spears or other long range weapons like bows and arrows. And once they're there and they finish off any of the remaining buffalo, and they cannot allow any of them to escape, because if I were a buffalo and I went over the cliff and survived and made it back to the herd, first thing I'm going to do is say, hey guys, some crazy stuff happened back there. So you couldn't let any of them escape because you didn't want to jeopardize future hunts as well, because buffalo are very intelligent animals. They will avoid areas that they understand as being dangerous to them or their herd. And so if any of them escaped, they would basically inform the rest of the herd, let's not go to that area again. And so there was a lot of work put into this to ensure that we can continue to do this year after year. And I mentioned to some of you they would do controlled burns in the area. So in the springtime, up here on the grazing basin where that large herd returns to, how they get them back there is they burn the area, and that controlled burn, it basically allows the grass to grow back thicker, and the buffalo, having a very strong sense of smell, they can smell that fresh grass from miles away, and it gets them to return year after year. That's partially where Blackfoot got our name, with all those controlled burns. It kind of made the bottom of our moccasins black from all the charcoal and soot in the ground. And so when people came across this for the first time, and they're asking who are those guys, the other tribes were, oh, that's Blackfoot, their feet are always black. So we didn't actually call ourselves that. But so anyways, here, once you get all the buffalo killed at the bottom, any of them are finished off, the butchering process has to begin immediately, because you, like I said, have about 48 hours before all that meat starts to spoil, and also before all the predators come and start wanting a bite of that meat. And trust me, they are well on their way. And so down here would have turned into a meat processing camp, and over there by the river bend, that's where the main camp of around 1,000 people would have been located. And at that time, the only domesticated animals we had were wolves. And those wolves, they carried all of our items from campsite to campsite, and they were also in charge of getting all of that meat here back to the campsite. So once they cut up that meat and started the drying process, the wolves would have been carrying all of it for us, and with carriers on their backs. And actually on site, you're not eating a single ounce of buffalo meat. That's all to be dried for later storage. And the main, because you're trying to build up winter food storage. And so the only thing you're eating here on site would have been the bone marrow and the internal organs, because they're very rich in nutrients, and those things can't be saved long term. And how they were saving that food long term is that they would dry the meat, and we didn't smoke the meat actually, it was just dried through the sun. It was cut paper thin, and so it dried very quickly. And then you crush it up into a powder, and then you mix it with crushed berries that would have been gathered in the area here. These are all berry bushes throughout here. And then they would have boiled the fat to render it, and you scoop up that whatever fat floats to the top, and then they mix that all together, and that creates pemmican. And pemmican was the preferred food for the Blackfoot people because it could last very long. It's very lightweight and compact and high in nutrients. And so, some of you have seen me explain the parfleche bag downstairs. And so with that parfleche bag, you'd open it up and you'd line it inside with wild mint. And that wild mint that we gathered in the area, that has antibacterial properties to it. And so that helps to extend the shelf life of that food. And because once you seal it back up, you bury it in the ground, it can stay in there for over a year. And so that food storage is vital to our people's survival. And so this place allowed us to do all of that. This hunt here, once per year, could feed you for the entire winter. And what I always like to tell people is back then, they weren't struggling to survive. This wasn't a struggle to get through. This wasn't a tough existence. If it was, they would have left the area. But they remained here for, like I said, 6,000 years. These hunts were practiced year after year. And these hunts allowed us to do what we want to do today, which is provide our children with a healthy and happy lifestyle in a safe environment so that they can grow up to be well-functioning, happy adults who can continue that cycle with their own children. So that was the main goal, to take care of our families. And this site allowed us to do that. It allowed us to thrive in this area. And so we're still here today, and I want to thank you guys for coming here and allowing me to share my people's history and our people's culture with you. So I'll leave you guys with one more Blackfoot word, and that's Giramatsin. It means see you later in Blackfoot, because we don't have final goodbyes. It's always see you later. So Giramatsin, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your stay here. Oh yeah. So when I was growing up, my grandma made pemmican a lot. And so the only difference is it is very good. The only difference is today there's unfortunately not a lot of buffalo around. So we had to adjust a lot of our food to what was around us, which was beef. And so a lot of times the pemmican is made from beef, but I've tried the buffalo version as well, and it's pretty good too.
It's too bad I missed that comment that he was talking about using the buffalo eyeballs to mask the smells of the food and whatnot.
Buffalo at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning? Absolutely.
Nice healthy snack here.
Got BLT.
A little healthier than mine. It was a Corvette Lamborghini, 2 Lamborghinis. Yeah.
Oh, there's 3. Do you think they'll give us a ride?
It's a 2-seater and there's 2 people in it, so.
So we stopped to go to the restroom in Canada, and these couple of Lamborghinis. This one's an Aventador, it's a V12, and then that one is a Huracan, it's a V10, it's the STO, which is pretty crazy. And there's another Aventador SV over there, white one. It's crazy. That's Calgary up there.
Great city. Home in the entire metro, roughly about maybe 1.5 million people, just a little bit over, make their home in Calgary. The name itself is interesting. It was named after a Scottish castle. A lot of European settlers are some of the first to come, but of course, if you go back to its true history, Calgary was home to various tribes, including the Blackfeet and the Crow, and many other bands too. And then including some further, the Blood Tribe and many others from the further part up to the north would come down and trade. So they would have been the first inhabitants of the area. But really the city got to start about 1875. Here, mining camps to resources, mining, and just building in an area. What this had going for it, the reason they chose Calgary primarily, You have 2 rivers that flow through, containing water and fish. The Elbow River, about 75 miles in length, and then the big one, the Bow River. This is to the left, so we gotta go right. And if you ever seen that movie called Cool Runnings, done by Disney, when the judges were in a tower, that's the tower. This is the finish, the bobsled finish, right there, where it says finish. See it? That's where the bobsled comes out. So that was what was used in that movie. Another great view of the city from up here. Kevin, I want to say a special thank you to all of you guys. You've been a fantastic group. I just gotta say, to me, taking you to places you're supposed to see, the hotels being there, all the logistical things working out is great. The success of a tour to me is all of you. The friendships, the camaraderie, the way you've worked with each other and spent time with each other and all that. That's the success. And this has been such a great group. We've always been laughing, joking, having a good time with each other. Very respectful. I just love that. So I think it's worked out really well. We covered everything we were supposed to cover. And a couple of small knick-knack things here and there for first tour. Real minor things that we could clean up on paper later. But we did everything we were supposed to do. And got you from Salt Lake City to Calgary. We're here. So Sharon, I think you did a great job on this tour, and I'm looking forward to running the next one with Kevin, minus dirt road.
Oh, that was exciting.
a couple other small little knick-knack things, like I say. But it's been an absolute pleasure and honor to run the first departure ever of this. And I'm very fortunate I get to see Kevin again on this exact same trip. And what have you. So again, all of you have been fantastic. Thanks you so much for joining us. And I typically am not a big person for goodbyes. And John and Yoki back there probably can agree now. It's more like until we see you again.
The tower's on the right. Wait.
Tower's on the right. Look, staring down on you right now. There it is.
Really appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
All right, and as she says, we were in great hands with Kevin. And I tell you, I've worked with this gentleman many a times before. He is truly professional, loves what he does. And what I like about him the most, he gets it. It's not about us, it's about you. You come to see these places, and he's one of those that puts you first. Most drivers, when they get to stops, put their feet up and on the phone, playing video games and everything else. What is he doing? Washing the bus. You know? And he carries a battery-powered pressure washer. So, anyway, your hotel's right here on the right. There to your left is some options for food. But this is a signature Sandman right here on the right-hand side. You're going to pull in that spot right there on the right.
So this is our hotel room in Calgary. We're on the 21st floor. That's good. Jeez. Have you looked down there?
Yeah.
Wow. It's a cool room. And the elevator was fast.
Yeah.
We had quite a trip here. We can maybe play some chess here at this little table. I like this little room. It's got everything I need.